You've had thousands of conversations today that nobody else was invited to. One of them is happening right now, reading these words in a voice that isn't actually coming from anywhere. And here's the part that should stop you cold. Roughly 1 in 10 people reading this sentence right now aren't hearing a voice at all. No inner monologue, no narrator, just silence where your commentary track is supposed to be. Let's start with the strange part nobody questions. When you silently rehearse what to say before a hard conversation or replay an argument you already lost, your brain isn't just thinking, it's talking. Brain imaging shows that inner speech lights up the same regions responsible for speaking out loud. Broca's area, the auditory cortex. Your brain doesn't treat your inner voice as a metaphor. It treats it as an actual voice. One study looking at silent reading found your inner voice gets processed in the parts of your brain wired to detect the human voice, the same machinery that fires when someone else is actually talking to you. Which means, on some level, your brain can't fully tell the difference between you talking to yourself and someone else talking to you. Now here's where it gets uncomfortable. A researcher named Russell Hurlburt spent years pinging people randomly throughout the day and asking them one question: what's happening in your head right now? The results were nowhere near consistent. On average, people reported inner speech about a quarter of the time they were sampled. But that average is hiding something bigger. Some people almost never experienced it. Others were narrating non-stop, upward of 75% of their waking hours. There isn't one universal human experience here. There are several, running on completely different settings, and most people have no idea their setting is different from everyone else's. This is where a 2024 study got interesting. Researchers found that people without an inner monologue, a condition some scientists now call aphasia, aren't missing anything broken. They're just running on a different operating system. Instead of narrating their way through a task, they lean harder on visual thinking, physical cues, and other nonverbal strategies. The inner voice isn't a requirement for being a functional, intelligent human. It's one tool among several, and some brains simply reached for a different one. So why do the rest of us have it at all? A psychologist named Morin laid out 5 specific jobs your inner voice appears to be doing behind the scenes, regulating your behavior in the moment, guiding decisions before you make them, letting you mentally rehearse someone else's perspective, pushing you towards self-improvement, and, strangest of all, deepening your sense of social connection, even when you're completely alone. Your inner voice isn't just commentary. It's a simulation chamber, a place to rehearse the version of you that has to go out and deal with actual people. And that simulation gets even stranger under a microscope. Some researchers describe inner speech as dialogic, not a monologue at all, but closer to a conversation your brain is having with itself, complete with different perspectives arguing it out before you ever open your mouth. That's the mechanism behind imagining what someone else would say to you or hearing your own advice in your mother's voice. Your brain built an internal cast of characters just to help you think. Here's the detail that should actually unsettle you. Scientists studying auditory hallucinations have a working theory that some experiences of hearing voices may be inner speech that the brain fails to correctly label as self-generated. Same mechanism, same brain regions, just a tagging error where a thought you made yourself gets misfiled as something external. The line between the voice in your head and a voice that feels like it's coming from outside you might be thinner and more mechanical than anyone's comfortable admitting. And maybe the strangest finding of all comes from people who physically cannot speak. Patients with certain forms of aphasia, a condition that can strip away the ability to produce speech out loud, often retain a fully intact inner voice. If inner speech and spoken speech use the exact same wiring, losing one should mean losing the other. It doesn't. Your ability to talk to the world and your ability to talk to yourself are, at least partially, running on separate systems. One can survive total collapse while the other keeps going, quietly, in private, for an audience of exactly one. So which one are you? The narrator running non-stop in the background of everything you do, or the quiet majority running without one at all? Tell me in the comments, inner voice or silence, because apparently even scientists are still surprised by how split that answer actually is.